Hi, my name is Leah, and I am an aspiring fantasy author. I've been working on my debut novel for a while now. This will probably be my first video that I upload. It's my birthday, and I got a lot of books from everyone in my family and my partner. And I just wanted to film a quick book birthday haul video, and yeah, just getting all the books inspired me to finally start a YouTube channel. And so I will start. This one was from my little sibling, and it is The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. I'm really easily influenced, I'm finding out. I saw this actually on that Guardian Top 100 Novels of All Time list. And I was just looking through the list and thinking about which novels on there that I want to read one day. And this one really interested me. I think it was written in the 1920s, and it's inspired by the author's own time that he spent in a tuberculosis hospital in, I believe, the Swiss Alps. This is entirely fictional though, it was only inspired by that. And that just, the idea of just a story set in a tuberculosis hospital really interested me. And this is an Everyman's Library edition, and I've never had an Everyman's Library book, but when I got this, I just fell in love with the binding itself, actually. I haven't read this yet, obviously, because I just got it. But it just feels, the paper feels so soft, and when you take off the dust jacket, the cloth binding just looks so, I don't know, classy. It just reminds me of older books. It has a ribbon, it's a sewn binding, and I just love this. And I definitely want to get more Everyman Library books now. Specifically, I'm really interested in getting the Kazuo Ishiguro ones. I want to get the Patricia Highsmith ones. I don't know, I made a whole list of Everyman Library books that I want to get now, and this is the start of that collection. The next three books were all from my partner, who has had to listen to my new interest in King Arthur legends. And I was just reading about stuff online and looking at free PDFs online. So these are my first books that are King Arthur legends. Two of them are actually basically the same book, but I'm glad to have both, and I'm glad that my partner got me both. But they are Sir Thomas Malory's Le Morte d'Arthur, which I believe was written sometime in the 1400s, but the two editions are slightly different. One of them is a modern respelling of, because it was originally published in Middle English, which if you do try to read it now, you could probably understand a lot of it, but the spellings are pretty weird, and there are a few words that we just either don't use or use very differently now. So this is a modern spelling version, but this one is very closely resembling the original published edition by, I think, a man named Caxton. And this one also has illustrations by Aubrey Beardsley. Aubrey Beardsley was an Art Nouveau artist in the late 19th century. And I love his art. I'll try to find an illustration here to show an example. This other version is also a modern spelling version, but it's also had a lot of the punctuation redone to fit modern grammar standards, and I've compared a few paragraphs back and forth, and this one actually is a lot easier to read, so I'm glad that I have this. I'm glad I have this for the illustrations, and I'm glad I have this for ease of readability. And I believe this one is also based off of an original handwritten manuscript of the author of Thomas Malory, versus this one is based on the original published version, and the publisher actually took a lot of liberties and changed a lot of things when publishing it. So it'll be interesting to compare that, but I'll probably mostly just read this one and then look at this one for the illustrations. This is a literary modern retelling of this book by John Steinbeck, of all people, which is really interesting to me that he did that. I believe this was the last work he worked on before he died, and he didn't finish it, but I'm really excited to read this, and I actually kind of want to read it in tandem with this, where I read this one, a chapter of this one, and then the corresponding retold chapter by Steinbeck right after it, and alternate chapters that way. Okay, this one I actually got myself. I was just at Half Price Books today, and this was another one that I was influenced by that Guardian Top 100 list. I just saw a few authors that I like mentioned this, and I never heard of it before, and I'm interested in history and historical fiction, and I thought, why not? It was at Half Price Books and it was cheap. This one, my cousin's boyfriend, who I haven't known for that long at all, but he's a really nice guy. He doesn't really know what manga I have and what books I have, but he kind of just took a shot in the dark, and I'm so glad he did, because I have been always wanting this. I have a lot of Junji Ito books. I have Tomie and Uzumaki and Ramina, but I don't have his. This is actually a short story collection, but one of them is a lot longer, and it is an adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I love Frankenstein, and I love Junji Ito, so I was holding this upside down. So I'm really excited to read this, and I'm so glad I have this, and yeah. I can show a page to show some of the art. Here is Victor making the monster. Okay, and then this last one is the big one, and I will cut away to show an unboxing because it just came in the mail today on my birthday. And this one is from my dad, and it is my first ever Folio Society book. And it is Piranesi, which is one of my favorite books of all time, if not my top favorite. I don't know, I never made a formal list, so I can't say, but it's definitely up there. And I love Susanna Clarke. I also love Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. That's also up there on top favorite books. And I haven't read her short story collection yet, but I will very soon. But anyway, this is a beautiful Folio Society edition of Piranesi, and I'm so happy to have it. I will come up close to, I'll try to hide my face so it focuses on this. And the top is gilt. I don't know if you can see. There's the plain. These sides are plain, and then the top is gilt. And the end papers are blue. The different sections are, have this little illustration. It's the same illustration on the different pages marking the different sections. And I'm just going to go through and show all the illustrations because when I was looking this book up in the past, thinking about whether or not I want it, I couldn't find all of the illustrations online. So in case you are also having that problem, I'll just show all of them. Hopefully they're all in focus, and if not, then I'll take pictures later and edit it in. This one's beautiful. This is another really cool one. They all have this very same moody blue and cream kind of color scheme. This is depicting one of the scenes in the climax of the story. I'm so happy to have this, and I was due for a reread of this book too, so I'm really glad that I have it in this beautiful format to reread instead of my paperback version, which is still nice. I mean, it's the same book, of course, but it'll just be fun to read it in such a fancy format. And I believe this is the only double spread illustration. And this book is a book that you can't really tell someone about it without spoiling things because it's very mysterious in the way it's told. It's very unique. It is a fantastical story, and it is feels very surreal and dreamlike as you're reading it. But I love this book so much, and I'm so happy to have this. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, thank you for watching.